Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to FM Bragging Rights season update. I am joined by Lee White, Chelsea manager, and City manager Aaron White. Thank you for joining us here today.
Good evening, everybody.
Fantastic stuff. Right, let's get underway and take a first look at Chelsea. Earlier on in the season, you were dominating at the top of the league, and now you find yourself 2 points behind myself, United manager Ian White. What's gone on?
I'm currently in a difficult run of games, accompanied with a lot of poor performances. Unfortunately, you're correct in saying I had a comfortable lead. And I've let it slip, and now I find myself being caught up by Manchester City, who has a game in hand. It can make it really a three-way battle going into the last, how many games? 12 games.
12 games, yes, so you are correct there. You played City in the FA Cup, fourth round, and unfortunately you got knocked out 4-1. How badly did the team take it?
Not only that, I lost 2-0 as well. At City, he seems to be a team that I can't beat, and like I said, it's brought all three of us sort of back in contention for the Premiership. But I seem to be playing him at a time where my team's not playing very well. It is a little bit of a concern, but hopefully I can get out of it ASAP and make a charge and overtake yourself.
In terms of the rest of the season, I mean, looking at your fixtures, I mean, you got your next Champions League game. You've made it to the first round of the knockouts. It's at home to Schalke. What are your expectations for Champions League?
Well, first of all, I'd hoping to be progressing past Schalke into the next round. But then I've got Liverpool away, which is never going to be easy. And as you can see there on the fixtures, I have a cup final against Arsenal, which the boys are looking forward to. But I've really got to start picking up the points in the league. Teams like Cardiff away, Norwich away, got to be 6 points. Because then I've got a difficult run of games. Arsenal at home, I've got yourself away. And look at the two at the very bottom, Everton and Tottenham away. Not going to be easy.
Yes, they've been in fine form, and they've issued a few upsets, including myself from Everton with a 1-0 defeat. You touched base with that Capital One Cup final. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think you could win?
Well, I lost 2-1 at Arsenal early on in the season, so I'm not really going to tell the boys revenge is on the cards, but I'm quite confident they will be thinking along those lines, and we can pull off the victory to get my first silverware at Stamford Bridge.
Fantastic stuff.
Ian, sorry, can I add a question to this?
Yes, you can indeed.
Lee, you look at your side of Mandzukic, Eden Hazard. Yeah, sorry, that's the one. Hazard, William, and Oscar. A fantastic forward four.
Yes.
A lot of goals coming there with Mandzukic 24, Hazard 19, William 10, and Oscar 7. Lack of goals coming from past that. Do you fear these injuries to these players have affected your progress up the table?
Well, there was a period at the start of the season where one was missing, or maybe two was missing at a time. So it did affect me a little bit. But yeah, they are key players. They score a lot of goals. It's what I build my team around. And as you can see now, they're all back fit. And hopefully I can pick up performances and results from now to the end of the season.
Sorry, I've got to follow one more question. You do have a fantastic backup to those players when they are injured. Van Ginkel, Salah, and Salah and Schürrle, who's now gone out on loan. Are they not producing the goods, or do you not trust them what they can do?
They've not performed particularly well when I've brought them into the team. I can't really find a place in the team for Salah.
He's only playing 2 games, I see here.
Yeah, I mean, the way I set the front three up, he doesn't fit into that role, unfortunately. But who knows for next season? I may adapt and change 1 or 2 things. But currently, as I find it, there's no place for those 2 players you mentioned.
Okay, thank you, Lee.
Last question, Lee, before we turn our attention onto the City boss, Aaron White. Looking at a couple of your key players here, three of them currently on their last warning before they get suspended through yellow card system. Mario Mandzukic, Caesar, and Ashley Cole. These are key players in your team. Can you afford to lose them at this stage in the Premiership title mount?
The two fullbacks, Aspilicueta and Ashley Cole, they're replaceable. Got Klein and Moreno. Mandzukic is the big one. Torres is not good enough. And as you can see, Eto'o's on the transfer list. So I really could do with him watching his discipline. But if he does, it's going to have to be Fernando Torres, unfortunately, and hopefully he can fill his boots.
Well, Lee, thank you for answering them questions there. And we do turn our attention to City manager Aaron White. Aaron, how are we doing?
Very well, thank you, Ian.
I mean, the first thing I want to say to you, and I think Lee might just join in here, is we've got to commend you on your turnaround of form of recently to come down from mid-table, I think as low as you went, to be looking at a title contending team. You've had a rough patch, you've had a few losses, important losses, a lot of draws, but you've made wins count and turned it round. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'd just like to pick up on that point, Ian. I'm actually 13 games unbeaten, just to make you aware of that. That is in all competitions. We all know where that led when I was boss of Chelsea last season. So, you know, I'm not going to sort of like try and rekindle what I did at Chelsea, but things are looking positive, and the morale within the team has suddenly started to pick up to the next level, and everyone's pulling together.
Yeah, I can see that the pinnacle point of the turnaround after the away loss against Tottenham 2-1 was Swansea away. Now, they're not always the easiest team to gain a point on. What are your thoughts on this pinnacle moment, and was it something that momentum's your team into the form that it is now?
I look at the Swansea game and I think it was rather disappointing, especially to go 2-0 up and Joe Hart scored 2 own goals. But we addressed that, and then from that moment, it's really where we pushed on from the Swansea game. Again, it was another late goal with Stoke, but then it's where we really have pushed on. If I just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins in the Premier League and 1 draw on the bounce, and 9 wins and 1 draw out of the last 10. It's the form that is taking us to where we want to be. To look at the league title at the moment, it's not something I'm looking at, but I'm 9 points off top with a game in hand. That could take it to 6. I've got to entertain Manchester United at home. That could take it down to 3. And then who knows? This is where we can really push on.
Same question that I asked Lee. You knocked him out 4th round FA Cup. Is that something that you hold dearly to your heart?
Look, the FA Cup is something that we do want to go out and win. We're not going to prioritise the league over the FA Cup. The FA Cup is something I wanted to win from the start. And, we find ourselves in a good position. We're in the 6th round. The draw is going to be made tomorrow. And we will be glued to the TV. Hopefully we'll get a home draw, as you're all well aware that the away form hasn't been too great this season. So, yeah, I mean, knocking out a big team like Chelsea, and not only that, they are big rivals. It goes deep into the family from the early 1990s, this. So it was something that was, something that I could actually hold in high regards to say that at this very present moment in time, I still rank number 1 out of the brothers.
Okay, that's a bold statement there. Let's move things on to the Champions League. First knockout round away at Atletico. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, just quickly skimming over their team. I mean, they've got the 5 players out injured for this. Let's have a look at their squad and see if there are anyone that's important that could go in your favour, especially away Atletico. Oh dear. There's an awful lot going there in the team. What are your thoughts for the match?
I mean, well, straight away, Salvio, or however you pronounce his name, the winger, 27 million. When you're spending that sort of money and he's not available to the side, he hasn't been registered. He's going to be a big miss. Also, Bender, Ian, you know well that you've signed him at United in the past.
Yes.
The goals that David Villa scores. So yeah, they're missing some big players. But to go to Atletico at any time, it's always going to be a tough ask. So we're not taking anything for granted with the players that are missing. We're going to set out as we always do. We're going to be disciplined, and we aim to come away from Atletico with at least a draw, whether that's 0-0 or whether that's 1-1 or 2-2. The aim is we come away without losing, and then obviously we bring them to the home ground and hopefully take it from there.
Aaron, looking at your fixtures in between the two Champions League games and the fixture after, you have Norwich, Southampton, West Brom and Hull. Bearing in mind you've got a game in hand, are you really looking to get 12 points out of these games to really put the pressure on myself and Ian?
I'm not putting any points to games. All we do know, and the lads, we have weekly meetings, and we take each game as it comes. First and foremost, we'll look at the Atletico game, and then we'll look at the Norwich game. But every game is. If we want to win this league, every game is important, and 3 points are essential. I'm not going to say who we're going to pick 3 points up to, who we're going to pick 1 up to, and who we're going to drop points to. Every game is 3 points. The lads know what they've got to do. And it's each game as it comes.
But surely you must be looking at those games and thinking, if I can get 12 points, I'm going to really put the pressure on the boys at the top.
I think if any team gets 12 points, suddenly the league table starts turning. Whether you're at the top, whether you're at the bottom, or whether you're in the middle. I'm not going to put the pressure on anyone. Each game, 3 points. But like you say, Lee, if we do find ourselves in a position where we have picked up 12 points, yes, I do agree. We are serious contenders, especially with the games coming up of Hull, Liverpool and Manchester United. Liverpool are in and around where I am, and Man United are the next step to catch. So, you start winning those games, yes, of course you're in the mix, and of course you find yourself, thinking about the Championship. But at the moment, it's each game as it comes.
Well, I can't stop looking at that Manchester United fixture, to be honest. If you do manage to pick decent points up, it's going to be a game and a half, that game, surely.
If we can get to the Manchester United game without losing, and yes, of course, it is all ifs and buts, but if we can beat United and we do get to that result without losing a game, I would hope that the final push towards the end of the season is going to be something that we are going to be involved in, and certainly not looking from the outside.
Okay, thank you, Aaron.
My pleasure.
Shall we turn our attentions then to Manchester United manager, who has recently found himself shot to the top of the league with some impressive results along the way. Ian, do you think you can hang on to that top spot?
It's too tight to call it at the end of the day. I'm only 2 points clear. Anything could happen at the moment. So I've got some important games, home and away, coming up, and I know you guys have too. And once again, it's one of those times where it is too close to call. And as a fan, this would be absolutely best TV, best season, best all-rounder to watch and be a part of. But as a club manager, it's the most tense, horrifying moments of the season, knowing that one simple loss or a draw could end your season mount.
Yes,
Ian,
I mean...
sorry, Lee, can I interrupt on that? Ian, the catalyst of your team is certainly the backbone. 17 goals conceded in 26 games. That is a mean feat of a back line. Surely, that's something that's propelled you to where you are in the league at the moment, that back line.
That's something that I've worked on at the beginning of the season, in pre-season. We've got some tired legs back there, but we've also got youth, upcoming defenders that need a bit of guidance, and it's gone to show that they've been taught right and they've been blended into the squad and they've been doing the job as asked. Yes, it has helped me out massively to have a strong back four. But in terms of goal scoring opportunities, we create them, but do we always capitalise on them? It's a different kettle of fish.
Last time we was with you, Ian, we witnessed a 2-1 shock home defeat to Aston Villa in the FA Cup 5th round. And then you've got Celtic coming up away, first leg. Do you think that's going to hinder you going into that game?
Listen, Aston Villa caught me off guard. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm also going to say that it's not a massive loss for me. I did say at the beginning of the season, all I really wanted to focus on was trying to win the Premiership. I'm going that way. Not looking bad in the Champions League. And I think other cup competitions, such as Capital One, FA Cup, were nothing but a sidetrack. And, I mean, in all fairness, Aston Villa, listen, guys, this is what the FA Cup is all about. It's all about creating shocks, putting the fox amongst the chickens, realising that a little town club can come through the ranks of the FA Cup and get into the knockout stages and play the big boys and send them packing. And I tell you what, Aston Villa are not a small club, but they've surely done a massive shock against myself, Manchester United manager, at home. And I've got to commend them on that.
Go on.
Ian, I want to speak to you about Sadie Janko. A little bit out of the wilderness at the moment. An 18-year-old that you've brought in. A lot of the fans wanted to see a lot of him when he came in. An exciting player that you played $675,000 for. 3 appearances and an average rating of 7.27. Is that something? Is there a reason why he's not playing more games than what he is?
Listen, he's still a young kid at the end of the day. 18. He hasn't long come back off loan. We found ourselves in a spot of bother with i.e. Smalling getting suspended with red card. Rafa has been out for 2 months. Jones was taking the toll, bearing the games upon his shoulder. And it was time to give someone a chance. And I'm pretty sure he's played at least 3 or 4 games for me now.
Yes, 3 games in. 3 games.
In serious games, should I add. And, he's raised to the challenge. I can't knock the kid. He's performing well. And it hasn't gone unnoticed.
And finally, Ian, just looking at your fixtures, you've got a bulk of games towards the end of the season. Manchester City away, Chelsea home, Liverpool and Arsenal away. What are your thoughts on those games? And do you think that's where the league's going to be won and lost?
Listen, I'm going to take each game as they come. Many managers and the press tried to write me off in my first gauntlet of death, as I like to call it, when I took on City. Then it followed by Liverpool, Sunderland, Chelsea, and then I've obviously got Champions League, Napoli, Arsenal, back-to-back, Southampton. And I come away with just 1 loss, and that was against yourself, Lee. I think, I turned some heads when I did that. As I said, a lot of people were trying to write me off at that point. And I got faith in the lads, and I know they'll do the job when the time comes, and we can push on.
Yes, I mean, your team has been very impressive this season, and Amon touched on the backbone of that is being your strong defence. Is that something that you think can maintain from now to the end of the season? Listen,
as I said before, the guys know what's expected of them. They know now not to make any silly mistakes. They know what's expected of them. They know what to do. Mistakes are now being cut out. I mean, I've got Fellaini out suspended. I've had a real good tough talking to him. This is not the time to be doing silly stuff and jeopardising what could be United's finest hour. And I ain't going to take that lightly. In terms of defenders, I've still got Rio Ferdinand. Evans is unfortunately out injured. Vidic, he is going out at the end of the season, but I'll tell you what, he's putting in a cracking season for me this time round. Ben Davies, first debutant season for United, and he's working wonders. And obviously, you've still got Evra, Jones, Smalling. So, I'm not worried, guys.
Okay, Ian, thank you for your time. And there you have it. Oh, hang on, we have another question.
Sorry, Ian. I do have one more question to pick up on when you speak about your big games that you won in a busy period. The games that you won: Man City home, Moscow home, Liverpool home. You lost to Chelsea away. You beat Arsenal at home. You lost to Arsenal away, and you've lost to Everton away. Now, these fixtures that you've got coming up in this busy period are as follows: Man City away, Chelsea home, Liverpool away, Arsenal away. Can you really produce the goods when it matters away from home?
That's not even a question, because I'm not even going to give an answer to that. Simple. I'm going to do the job. The boys knows what's expected of them. It's a late part of the season, and they're not going to slip up.
Okay, Ian, thanks for your time on that. But it's a question that had to be asked, because the 3 games you've lost have all been away from home and all been lost to what we classed as big teams.
We can all look at and scrutinise everyone's away form and home form. I mean, let's just take a little closer look at your City side here. Let's have a few fixture update. Okay, Tottenham away loss.
I agree, Ian. My away form is poor.
Well, you can't be expected to go through the whole of the season without suffering some form of defeat away. Don't forget, it's their gaff, it's their castle, it's their home, and you're just an intruder to them. And if you come away with a point, especially with a win, you've done your job. If you come away with a loss, all you got to say is fair play to them. They defended their home.
Right, guys, I think we should leave it there. I want to thank everybody for their time, and that has been FM Bragging Rights Season Update.